And sometimes I wish I really would have never said that.
You wish you would have just told the truth.
I wish I would have told the truth, but
this ain't a rap song, it's red pill
if it
rage.
saved
This ain't a
all
rap
of us,
song, it's red pill
then
rage.
that's
This
just
ain't
how
a
you
rap
would
song,
do
it's
it.
red pill
When you
rage.
hear
There used to be a time that fairy tales were true. The king and the queen and all the pills were blue. But then the pill changed, the red pill's the truth. Forget the married life, I got better things to do. Stack money, travel the world.
Welcome back to the Anthony Spade channel. Before we get started, I would not be talking about all women, even though it feels like it. If it feels like I'm talking about you, you need to check yourself because words only hurt whenever they are true. All right, guys, today I'm going to be reacting to the Gayle interview with Meg Thee Stallion that's going viral right now, okay? But one thing that I want to say before we start reacting to this is that there is one little secret about this that no one is paying attention to, which is why Tory Lanez is going to be victorious. And I want you to take this into consideration whenever you are watching this video and we are reacting to it. All right, Megan's gonna say an event has happened. You guys know what happened in their event. I can't necessarily say it because of monetization situations. All right, but she's saying Tory Lanez did this thing and Tory Lanez didn't. But what you have to pay attention to is what happened during the situation happened, but everybody still got back in the car and drove down the road, and then they were pulled over. That's what you got to realize. The police didn't show up at the spot and break up a situation. It didn't happen. The situation happened and someone called them. They still got back in the truck and they drove down the road. Then they got pulled over. Then she started telling the cop and the cop what happened. All right, the cops didn't pull up and break anything. So the question that Megan needs to answer the most is, why did you get back in the car after the situation happened and still drive down the road? That's the question that no one is talking about, and that's what's gonna make Tory win this case, which is why Tory is being quiet. Because pretty much what Megan is doing right now is digging a hole. Let's get to it.
I didn't even want to move. I didn't want to move too quick, like, cause I'm like, oh my God, if I take the wrong step, I don't know if he can shoot something that's like super important. I don't know if he could shoot me and kill me. Like,
Were you afraid?
See, this is what men don't understand. See, when you stop and listen to Meg Thee Stallion's songs, she's strong, she's powerful. She's all of these things, but yet she plays weak and vulnerable on TV. Why? Because it's called unaccountability. All right, she doesn't want to be held accountable for what she's done. So now she knows the truth is about to come to light, and what you're seeing her do in this interview is called selling it. She's trying to sell the fact that she was a victim. She's trying to convince the world of that, but what she's not realizing is that she's contradicted herself in this story too many times, and Tory has always kept the same story. All right, what she's doing now, people start to think about her videos. They start to think about the WAP. They start to think about how she's misleading children. That's why a celebrity in her situation, it's like everyone is sitting back praying on her downfall. These tears that you're seeing are fake tears. The only tears that are real whenever it comes to a woman is the tears she has when she's by herself.
For your life at that
I was
time?
really scared because I had never been shot at before.
Gayle, here's another great and big get for you. Megan reached out to you. Is that true?
Yeah, she did. I mean, listen, Kevin, it's been 2 years, July 2020. They reached out and said, you know, Megan is ready to talk, because I think she was just fed up with the narrative that's out. She wanted to control her own story.
What Megan's not realizing, running to Gayle wasn't the safest thing to do, because Gayle is not on everyone's good side. You have to realize she tried to throw Kobe Bryant underneath the bus by bringing up a situation that happened with him 14 years ago, which was a case that he beat fairly. She tried to throw Kobe Bryant under the bus, and she also tried to throw Russell Simmons under the bus recently. So she's not even on the good side with people just based off the things that she's done. Megan ran to Gayle because no one else really wants to touch this story, because the witnesses have already said in court that Tory was nowhere near the situation whenever it happened. The DNA results of the forensics has not came back to Tory. It has came back to her best friend. So when you see her still talking Tory this and Tory this, and I'm gonna reach out to Gayle and I'm gonna make it look more serious than what it is, what she's doing is just digging a hole.
You know, this is what's so sad to me, is that there's videotape, there's a medical report, there is a police report, and there are still people that are trolling Megan online. And I think she ignored it for as long as she could. I really
See, they can always pay Gayle to go with it, but Gayle's not reading the police report. Gayle's not reading the DNA, the DEA evidence report. She's not reading all the forensics. She's not paying attention to the witnesses that are there. She's calling the hype. She's trying to sell it along with Megan. But unfortunately, this story is getting so much light shed onto it that pretty much everyone is already knowing exactly how it's going to sway, because you have to think, if he really did what he did and really did it, you think he would have been allowed to go on tour? You think he would have been allowed to still make music? You think he'll still be a free man if the story was real? Now you got to think, it ain't that much money that can save you out of that situation. He has a lot of money, but they still want to know what's the ultimate truth. And you see how it's playing out.
I do believe that. And then I think it just got to her. And so for better or worse, she said, I want to say something. Hopefully people will believe her, but now she can at least say, I stood in my truth and I told my story.
So I just said, I stepped on glass. So when I see people trying to use that against me, like trying to act like I'm lying, oh, she stepped on glass, she never got shot. I'm the one who said I stepped on glass. I was lying to protect all of us.
You have to realize, in reality, she really stepped on glass. There was no fracture to her foot at all. Even when you go back and look at the doctor reports, it doesn't show it at all. It shows as a scrape and a cut, which is why a couple days later, Megan was actually on stage twerking, and she was doing dance videos. She was showing, hey, I am okay. So when you sit here and you see these tears, the tears are not gonna work anymore. You've done so much to show that, hey, even if you did get popped, it didn't slow you down at all. Now you sitting there acting like you had to lose a leg and you couldn't walk, and now it's just traumatizing. No. The case has already started. That's the sad part. If the case hasn't started yet, she should have did this last year, but the case has already started. Witnesses have already spoke.
And sometimes I wish I really would have never said that.
You wish you would have just told the truth.
I wish I would have told the truth, but if it saved all of us from dying, then that's just probably what it was meant to be.
When you hear
What she meant by that is, she's saying she lied to the cops in order to keep the cops from shooting at them because of the George Floyd situation. But one thing that you have to understand, this is in Beverly Hills, and these are known stars. You're coming from one of the Kardashian houses who just threw a party. Everyone knew what you were doing. The type of neighborhood that they are actually in, that the situation happened, is a really, 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 really rich, good neighborhood. Cops are just not gonna pull out and just start to take you out. It doesn't work that way in that neighborhood, which is why they got away with a lot that they did do. All right, let's get back to it.
hear her, the pain in her voice, and you hear her reasoning, it's true. She didn't tell the exact truth that night. She did say that she stepped on glass. And when you realize why she said that, think of the circumstances. This is July 2020. George Floyd, it happened May 2020. Everybody's on heightened awareness. She was thinking, the police come. She knows there's a hot gun in the car. She's thinking, how is this going to turn out for any of us? And so her immediate.
Like she said, she knows there's a hot gun in the car. Gayle's trying to sell it because Gayle's trying to sell it on victimhood, right? This is why women can't be leaders, guys, because they continue to cover each other with emotional things. You know, with the tears, she can't be lying. Tory's bad. She's a victim. She's selling the story to other girls like this. She's selling it. But she's not realizing is that people are not really that dumb. We're living in an era of knowledge, and we're living in an era where everyone can actually see the truth now. And everyone sees that it's not going to pan out good for her at all. This is a sad way to go out, is that when you've already lost, and trust me, she's already lost just based off the witnesses in the second time they went to court. She's pretty much lost. Why you think all the other celebrity friends are starting to back up? People are starting to get away from her. They're going to still use her as a billboard. But I could tell you right now, as soon as this case is closed and Tory's victorious, this girl's career is going to end overnight. And the reason why is because they already have video evidence. They already have multiple camera angles of evidence that's popping up in court. And none of it has shown Tory near that situation. It shows it from her friend. That's what I don't think Gayle is paying attention to. That's why, like, when you start seeing stuff like this, you got to say, man, these people are delusional. If you guys want to watch the full interview, go over to E! Entertainment, where you get to watch this whole thing with Meg Thee Stallion and Gayle. All right? Hasta la vista.